Hey there, welcome to the Focus Podcast with Taralee. This is the place where we talk about real life, real relationships, and how to grow through it all. If you're looking for simple mindset shifts, better communication, and deeper connections, you're in the right spot. Let's dive in. Hi friends, welcome back to the Focus Podcast with Taralee. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So a quick personal note before we dive in. Enrollment for my one-on-one relationship coaching program is closing very soon. I only have 3 spots left, and once they're filled, that is it for this round. So if you've been thinking about working with me, now is your time. In this course, we go deep, we get real, and we work through this actual stuff that's holding you back in your relationships without the blame and guilt or drama. Also, my parenting coaching program is opening in June. It's one-on-one as well, and I'm only taking a handful of clients. If you're a parent struggling to connect with your teen or young adult, get on the wait list now. These spots will go fast. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. I want to talk to you about something that's been coming up in nearly every client session lately. It's this quiet nagging thought that so many people carry. The thought is, something is wrong with me. I want to start with this because I want you all to know that you are not broken. You're just human. And being human is messy. It's full of contradictions. We want connection, but we isolate. We want peace, but we pick fights. We want to feel better, but then we numb out with snacks or Netflix or scrolling through TikTok until our eyes ache. And this doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that your brain is working exactly the way it's designed to. There's a story I often share with my clients. A mom that I work with came to me in tears one day, and she said, "I love my daughter so much, but everything she does irritates me. I feel guilty, even angry and exhausted, and honestly, I feel ashamed for even thinking this." And we talked about this, we unpacked it, and we found out underneath was this belief that a mom shouldn't feel this way. But here's what I told her. What if good moms also get overwhelmed? And what if irritation and love can exist in the same place? What if instead of this mom judging her emotions, she got curious? That moment was a shift because once she gave herself permission to be human, she was able to show up differently, with more compassion and more calm and more connection. And that's what I want for you. One of the most liberating tools that I've learned and now teach in my coaching business is the concept that life is 50-50. Half of life is going to feel great, and the other half is not. It's not a sign that something has gone wrong. It's not proof that you're failing. It's just being human. We spend so much energy trying to push away the hard stuff, the frustration, the grief, the anxiety, or disappointment. It's like a fire we need to put out. But what if it's just part of the ride? What if the hard moments belong just as much as the joyful ones? I remember during the early days of my daughter's cancer journey, I was trying so hard to stay positive. I wanted to be the strong one. I wanted to be her rock and the steady force holding everyone together. But the truth was, there were nights that I curled up on the end of my bed, unsure of how I was going to be strong another day. I felt the weight of everything, the love and the fear and the hope, the helplessness all at once. And guess what? It didn't mean that I was doing it wrong. It meant that I was fully in it, that I was alive. That's the 50-50, the beautiful, awful, sacred mess of all of it. Sometimes people will say to me, "I just want to feel better all the time. I want to stop getting triggered, stop feeling anxious or discouraged." And I will gently remind them that if you numb the hard stuff, you also dull the good stuff. You can't selectively mute your emotions. It's all or nothing. Joy and sorrow live right next to each other. Peace and fear, love and grief. You don't get to have one without being open to the other. Let me give you another example. There was a client that I worked with who was trying to repair her relationship with her estranged son. She said to me that I just want to feel close to him again. I want the pain to stop. And we talked about how healing doesn't mean you never hurt again. It means learning to hold both progress and pain, hope and heartbreak. When she finally allowed herself to feel sad without judgment, without rushing in to fix it, she found so much clarity. She could have a hard conversation with him without being consumed by fear or resentment. And because she wasn't afraid of feeling those things anymore, she had built the muscle to carry them. And that's what emotional adulthood looks like. And look, no one wants the 50% that feels like garbage. No one wants to raise their hand and say, yes, please, give me the anxiety, give me the loneliness, the rejection. But when we stop treating those emotions like intruders and start welcoming them like temporary guests, something shifts. We stop resisting, we stop spiraling, and we learn to breathe through it, to live through it. Here's a little trick that I use when I'm in a tough moment, and maybe it'll help you too. I'll say to myself, this is the part where it's hard. This is the part where I feel sad, or this is the part where I'm scared, or this is the part where I feel small. Nothing's gone wrong. I'm just in the 50, or I'm just in the dip, as Seth Godin calls it. The dip is this messy middle, the low point, the part where things stop being exciting and start getting uncomfortable, where the doubt creeps in and where you want to quit, but also where transformation is something that is happening underneath the surface. It's like giving your nervous system a warm hug. You remind yourself, I can handle this. I was made for this. It's not forever. And then when the joy comes, because inevitably it will come, you won't miss it and you won't take it for granted. You know how far you've come to feel it, and you've earned every sweet second of it. So if you're in a hard season right now, I want you to hear this. You're not behind and you're not broken. You're just in the 50. You're in the dip, and it's okay not to be okay. When you let the heart in, you stop arm wrestling your pain and you start getting curious about it. That's when healing begins, and that's when you start to feel better. Not because suddenly everything got easier, but because you got stronger. One of the most mind-blowing and freeing truths that I've learned and I teach my clients is this. It's not what someone does that creates your feelings. It's what you think about what they do. So let that sink in. It's not what someone does that creates your feelings. It's what you think about what they do. It's not your teen rolling their eyes, and it's not your spouse walking past the laundry. It's not your mom's tone of voice or your sister's silence. It's the story your brain tells you about it. And once you get this, you realize that you don't have to wait for them to change in order to feel better. You don't have to wait for your teenager to suddenly become polite. And you don't have to wait for your partner to start reading your mind or magically meeting your needs. You don't even have to wait for that apology that you think that you're owed. You get to feel peace and connection and love now, right now, by choosing how you want to think. And I know, your brain might resist this at first. It sounds like we're letting people off the hook, but it's not about ignoring bad behavior or pretending that everything's fine. It's about choosing your own experience on purpose. Let me tell you a little bit about a client that had come to me feeling completely fed up. Her son had dropped out of college and had moved back home, and he spent his days sleeping in and playing video games. And she said to me, he is so lazy. He doesn't care about anything, and it's like he's wasting his life away. So I asked her, what's your thought about him? And she looked at me kind of confused, and she said, I just told you, he's lazy. And I said to her, well, no, that's not a fact, that's a thought. So we unpacked this together. We looked at his behavior objectively. He sleeps in, he plays video games, and he hasn't returned to school yet. Those are the facts. Everything else, he's lazy, he's failing, he doesn't care, those are interpretations. And those interpretations were making her feel helpless and angry. But here's what's wild. Once we looked underneath those thoughts, What we found was love and fear and grief. She was grieving the future that she had imagined for her son, and she was afraid that he wouldn't find his way. She loved him so much that it hurt. So we shifted the lens from judgment to curiosity. Instead of, he's lazy, she started asking herself, what if this is how he's coping right now? What if he feels lost? What would it look like to stay connected without trying to control? And she brought that energy into their next few conversations, and everything for them changed. Not because he suddenly got up and changed his whole life, but because she showed up with love instead of frustration. She showed up with openness instead of pressure, and calm instead of chaos. And over time, his behavior did shift, not from being pushed, but from being seen. This is what I call relational leadership. It's the quiet, grounded power of choosing how you think and feel on purpose, no matter what else is going on. You get to decide what kind of relationship you want to have. Do you want to have a relationship that feels safe, spacious, and strong, even if your teen is struggling? Do you want to love your partner fully, even if they leave dirty socks on the floor? Do you want reconnection with your adult child, even if they're pulling away? Then it starts with your thoughts. Here's the thing. Most of us were taught that love is a reaction to someone's behavior. They're kind to me, I feel love. They meet my needs, and I feel secure. They text me back, and I feel wanted. But what I teach my clients and what I try to live myself is that love is a choice. It's a skill and a practice. You don't have to feel resentful just because someone disappointed you. You don't have to stew in anger just because they were late. You don't have to shut down just because they didn't say thank you. You get to show up from the kind of person you want to be, no matter how they show up. It's not about controlling others, it's about reclaiming you. And once you realize that, it's like unlocking a secret superpower. Because the truth is, when you change the way you think, you change the entire emotional atmosphere of a relationship. This is the kind of work we do together in coaching. We don't just talk about how frustrating your partner is or how disrespectful your teen is. We get underneath that. We explore your thinking and we untangle it and we clean up the emotional clutter. And from that place, you start to show up differently. You stop parenting from panic, and you stop partnering from resentment. You start relating from a place of grounded strength and clarity. And that's where everything shifts. I want to say something that might surprise you. You can love somebody and still say no. You can love someone and still set a boundary. And you can love someone deeply and fiercely with your whole heart and still choose not to have them in your daily life. That is not cold. That is not unkind. That is not rejection. That is self-respect, and it's emotional maturity, and it's love rooted in truth instead of fear. I've worked with so many parents, so many good, well-meaning, tender-hearted parents who carry this belief that if I set a boundary, I'm being a bad parent. If I say no, I'm pushing my child away. If I stop helping them, they'll think I don't care. But here's what I always ask. What if the boundary creates connection? What if the clearest, kindest thing you could do for your relationship is to stop over-functioning, to stop rescuing, to stop silencing your own needs in the name of peace? Let me tell you about one dad that I worked with. His adult son was going through a really hard season. A job loss, depression, some very poor financial decisions. And this dad, he helped him out a few times. He paid his rent and he covered his car repairs and picked up a lot of the pieces. But this ended up not being a one-time thing. It became a pattern. And with each bailout, he felt more anxious and more resentful and more afraid. Not just about the money, but about the relationship. He felt trapped and guilty and helpless. So in one of our coaching sessions, we explored this thought. What if helping him isn't actually helping him? This dad realized that his support was coming from fear, not trust. He had fear that his son would fail and fear that he would suffer, fear that he as a father would be to blame. But when we entangled that fear, underneath it all was love, a deep, steady love that believed in his son's ability to grow. And so with courage and compassion, he set a new boundary with his son. He said to him, I believe in your ability to figure this out. And I love you. I'm here to listen and cheer you on, but I'm no longer giving you money. And you know what? It was rocky at first. His son was very upset. There were some very hard conversations, but over time, their relationship became more honest and more respectful and more real. And his dad got his peace of mind back. Because here's the thing about boundaries. Boundaries don't push people away. They create clarity. They define what's yours and what's not yours. They draw a line not in anger, but in love. They say, this is where I end and you begin. They say that I'm responsible for my life and you're responsible for yours. I want to say this especially to the parents listening right now. You can be a good parent, a loving parent, a generous parent, a devoted and compassionate parent, and say, I will not argue with you. I will not be disrespected in my own home. And I will not rescue you from consequences that are yours to own. You can say all those things with love in your voice and softness in your eyes. Boundaries are not walls. They're not doors. They're the doorway to a healthy connection, to honest communication, and to mutual respect. And sometimes the powerful boundary you set is the one that you hold with yourself. It sounds like this. I don't chase people who don't want to engage with me. Or I don't engage in circular arguments. Or I don't pretend I'm okay when things really aren't okay. These are boundaries too. Not to punish, not to control, but to preserve the relationship and your own peace. One of my clients said something really beautiful once after a boundary setting with her sister. She said, I finally realized that loving her doesn't mean I have to lose myself. Exactly. Boundaries are an act of love for them and for you. So if you're listening right now and there's someone in your life, maybe it's a child or a partner or a parent, where things feel very murky or hard or confusing, I want you to ask yourself, what would I say or do if I truly believed I could love them and take care of myself? That's your work, and you don't have to do it alone. That's what we do together in coaching. We untangle guilt from love, obligation from connection, and fear from boundaries. And we rebuild something stronger, something more honest, something rooted in respect on both sides. So if you're listening to this and thinking, that's the kind of work I want to do, then let's talk. My relationship coaching program is almost full. There are only 3 spots left, and when they're gone, they're gone. This is for people who are ready to stop spinning in confusion and stop blaming everyone else for their unhappiness, and finally get clarity and peace and direction that they are craving. We'll work together, just you and me, for several weeks. You get personalized tools and real conversations, the kind of accountability that actually leads to growth. And if you're a parent struggling with your teen or young adult, get on the wait list for my parent coaching program opening in June. That's also a one-on-one, and the transformations that happen inside these programs are very powerful. But space is limited, so don't wait. You don't need to fix your family or control your child's every move. You need to learn how to show up from a place of calm authority and unconditional love. And that's what I'll teach you. All right, friends, I hope you're walking away from this episode with one big takeaway. You are not broken. You are just human. And you deserve support. You deserve the tools that actually work. And you deserve a relationship that feels safe and meaningful, not just for them, but for you too. So if this resonated with you, send me a DM. Or go to my website and sign up for a free consultation conversation. Or just go grab one of those last spots or hop on the wait list. All the links are in the show notes. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and know that you are doing better than you think. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Focus Podcast. If something stood out or helped you in some way, feel free to share it or leave a quick review. It means a lot. Keep showing up, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next episode.